Welcome Strategy Battle Gamers to another GBHL YouTube video. You're here with your host GBHL Damian, and this is the first of my hobby vlogs. I know that Jamie's vlogs that he's been doing with his scenery and his models have been really popular on the channel, so I'm going to be doing these as well. I'm not nearly as prolific as Jamie is. I'm not nearly as good as, I don't have nearly as much speed, I guess, at hobbying time, but I'll hopefully be updating you on what I'm up to over the weeks. We haven't quite, these seem to have been really popular, Jamie's hobby vlogs, and we haven't quite decided quite how we're going to be releasing them regularly or on what day or anything, but you'll hopefully be seeing regular updates from, at the very least, myself and Jamie, and possibly James as well, about what we're up to in terms of hobby stuff. So some of this will be kind of a continuation from my unboxing of Thror and Thror video, but hopefully we'll be able to give you some idea about what I've been up to for the last couple of weeks or so. So you probably saw these guys in the Thror and Thror video, which are my converted Warriors of Erebor, and these guys are now completely finished. They needed their bases doing before, but that's make sure that focuses. Come on, you play nice. There you go, those are my, that's how these models end up looking. So I've just finished another 8 of those, and I actually found myself with a bit of unexpected spare time, and so then moved straight on to my Grimhammers. So these guys, as you can see, are not converted. These are just the original Grimhammer poses. Now, because I've been converting my Warriors of Erebor out of Grimhammers into these guys, what I've tried to do with my actual Grimhammers to avoid confusion from my opponent is to make sure that the only models I'm using for Grimhammers are the ones that are actually holding their two-handed weapons. Yeah, so anything where they were holding the weapon in one hand or holding one of their thrown axes, they've been converted into Warriors of Erebor, meaning that hopefully the Grimhammers themselves should be pretty distinctive on the tabletop. Now I've got to say, the reason I converted all of these into Warriors of Erebor originally was because I love the models so much, and I'm really happy with how these guys have turned out, but seeing these Grimhammer models in the state that they were intended is just fantastic. They really, really are gorgeous, gorgeous sculpts. They're, I don't know, to my mind, they're certainly some of GW's best warriors that they've released. So these are currently at the stage, I do a kind of 3-stage painting process. I base coat them, and then I shade them. And so these have been shaded, so they look quite dark and quite muddy at the moment. They've had all their base coats applied, and then a wash of Nuln Oil across the robes and scale mail, and Agrax Earth Shade across the plate mail. And that's the kind of stage they're at now. You can see this guy, I think it's a really cool pose. They're just they're such gorgeous models. And then what I do, it's my little dwarf painting palette over there. I then highlight them up, and that's what gets them to this stage. So these guys are now waiting for the brush to do their highlights on, and that should be coming relatively soon. It does drive me insane because you probably can't tell from this distance, but these guys, they're not dry brushed, they're individually kind of edge painted. So the highlights are painted across the edge of every piece of like plate armour, and the scales are painted individually. So painting the, what do I use? It's this one. Painting the Ironbreaker highlights on takes about 20 minutes per dwarf, which is absolutely soul destroying, but I think it's well worth it. So yeah, those are my 6 Grimhammers. I'm quite a fan of Grimhammers. I know that they're quite infamous and people aren't keen on them, but I think having some throwing weapons gives you some nice tactical flexibility. And if you're coming up against either Wood Elves or Goblin Town, where essentially your opponent is Strength 3, then you don't need the extra defensive Warriors of Erebor, and Strength 3 throwing weapons could be just the ticket. But again, primarily this project for me is about how it looks, it's about aesthetics, and these models are just absolutely stunning. So we've got those. Let's move those back. So the other thing that you might have picked up hopefully in the unboxing of Thror and Thror was the Thror and Thror themselves. And I have these guys over here. So here is Thror, fully assembled. He's also been sprayed white. I generally, for good models, work from a white undercoat. I'm old-fashioned in that sense. This is the fully assembled model. You saw me unboxing him. It is a great model. There weren't any nasty miscast surprises with Thror, thankfully. Really, really nice pose. I had to green stuff under his feet a bit to kind of make him flat and flush to the base. And also this cloak piece was kind of tricky to get on. I essentially had to glue it in place here and then bend, I've run out of hands, bend that side round to make it fit. That wasn't that easy. And as you can hopefully see in there, there is a line of green stuff I then had to fill. And you also get a fairly nasty gap there, just inside there, that you need to fill with green stuff. But it's a really lovely sculpt, and I'm looking forward to getting stuck into him pretty soon. There was a bit of a, not a competition I guess, but I asked for advice on whether or not to paint Thror or Thrain next. I think the kind of unanimous verdict was to paint Thror next, but when I assembled him, as much as I was really happy with the, here he's assembled, as much as I was really happy with the cast on the sprue, when I actually came to cut off the shield, I found this. You see there's a chunk missing out of the bottom of the shield there, and you can actually see when I hold him up to the light, see the difference in the thickness of the fine cast between the top half and the bottom half is a lot thinner, and obviously sadly a little bit chunk of that has broken away. Now it's only a tiny thing, and you could even look at it as a bit of battle damage, but for my money, when you've paid this much money, it's £12, you want a perfect cast. So full credit to them, I rang up GW, they asked me to send a photo, I sent a picture, and they have sent me out a brand new Thror, which is kind of exciting. So that's the reason he hasn't been undercoated, because I'm going to take this shield off and put the new one on. The reason I'm going to do that is because he took absolutely ages to clean up. It's the same with Thrain actually. Whilst the casts were pretty good, you can see the detail on the crown there is absolutely perfect. Those 4 little pieces. There was just so much of those, anyone who's assembled a fine cast model will know about the kind of triangular pieces of flash you get in models, and it took absolutely ages to kind of carve that away, but it was well worth it, because honestly I just can't stop staring at this model. It's absolutely fantastic, beautiful. Again, there was a bit of green stuff in that needed to be done there where the 2 pieces joined up, but it's so dynamic, and I really can't wait to get stuck into painting this guy when the new shield arrives, which is pretty cool. So he's good, but he has to wait a bit for a full-on well-cast shield to appear, which is fair enough. So that's the kind of progress on my dwarfs of late. However, something has stolen my attention away, which means that all of these guys are going to have to wait till next week sometime, which is these guys. Da-da-da. 5 Uruk-hai Berserkers. Yep, my Isengard army, as much as I've got about 2,000 points painted up for SBG, there was a few little dregs that remained to be painted that I've been meaning to do for some time, and about, I have to look at my work in progress thread on the One Ring to be sure, but I think about July or August time last year, I finally cracked and started painting all the Hobbit miniatures, and so my Isengard army got left behind, and I decided to paint these guys because I potentially need them. I'm not entirely sure yet, for an event this weekend. So on Sunday and Monday we've got the Longbottom Carnival, which I'm very excited about, and I might be bringing some more of these guys to it. So I dug them out, which was quite good fun, going digging around the various miniature boxes, trying to remember where I put these. And there's 3 metal ones at the end here, and then there's the 2 plastic ones from the Uruk-hai siege troops. And I was really dreading cleaning them up because I hate removing mould lines, particularly from metal models. But I was delighted to see that when I pulled them out, past Damian had already cleaned them up in anticipation for this day. So thanks, past Damian. That was a lovely present to future Damian, and was a very unexpected bonus. So yeah, I got these again. Because these are going to be largely skin, there's very little metal and armour on them. I've put them on there. I've undercoated them white. I've painted a fair few of these guys in the past. I think I've got 11 of them done. But they're gorgeous, gorgeous models. Really, really nice. Kind of classic Lord of the Rings. You know, these date back to 2002, I suppose it would be. 2002 or 2000, either late 2002, early 2003. They're really, really, really nice models. It's currently, don't know when you guys will see this, but I'm currently recording this on Sunday morning. I'm actually going to be away until Wednesday, so I've got, if I do get these done, it's not crucial that I get them done, but I'll have to do them Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, So that's the kind of plan for me. So, presuming that we start doing one of these a week, hopefully by the time I do my next vlog, these will be finished. And I sincerely doubt anything would have been done to these. So, yeah, that's a kind of update on what's on my painting table, essentially. I'll be getting on with the Berserkers as soon as possible, and I'll be updating you on my progress. So, as always, don't forget to comment, like, share and subscribe, support your Hobbit hobby, and happy strategy battle gaming.